Hi everybody, this is Red Hill Eagle. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 3 of our modern day Premier League wrestling save. It's basically the McMahons are back. Shane and Stephanie McMahon have set up their own company. It's Premier League Wrestling. And it's episode 2 of our TV show Unleashed. We kick off again with some pre-show matches. I'm not sure if I'll continue to do so many once the save sort of gets underway a little bit more. I'm only really doing it to, maybe test out some chemistry and that sort of thing, try a few experiments. But at the beginning particularly, just sort of see how well people perform. But once I get a better feel for that, I probably won't need to do quite so many. But we kick off anyway here with ABC taking on Jamel Taylor-Gunn and Mustafa Ali. ABC are Ace Austin and Chris Bay, of course. And it's ABC that get the win in 13 minutes 38 when Ace Austin pinned Jamel Taylor-Gunn, JTG, with the alphabet. JTG was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performances. Chris Bay, 63. Ace Austin, 66. Mustafa Ali getting a 62. And yeah, JTG, 41. So yeah, a fair bit behind, but it's not terribly awful. 63 overall though, not a bad little start. ABC getting the great chemistry, which is brilliant, and Ace Austin also has a hot new move. So yeah, that kicks off the pre-show, and then we move into Josh Alexander taking on Michael Von Payton. A terrible pre-show match. I've only really brought Michael Von Payton in as a kind of jobber, really. Maybe someone to just kind of use to get some other people over. But it's an overall rating of 47, which is quite disappointing. But it's Alexander getting the win in 9 minutes 44 by pinfall with a TKO. So Alexander getting yes, 58. I've got my glasses on, but the laptop is so far away from me. Yes, 58. And then Michael Von Payton getting 24, which is pretty awful. Josh Alexander, it was his debut. Walking a weapon gimmick got great, and Von Payton old school heel gimmick, which also got great. But they didn't seem to click, which probably didn't help. And Josh Alexander has got is in amazing form. Let's see if there's any bonuses or penalties for these gimmicks. Large boost to menace during angles for Josh Alexander, and nothing for Von Payton. Okay, let's move on. Third pre-show match, a decent pre-show match. This is the hybrid, taking on AJ Francis and Matt Riddle. Remind me who the hybrid are. Angelico, who I have recently signed just to team up really with Jack Evans here as the hybrid. I think they are a real tag team. They weren't the hybrid, there was something else hybrid, but I've just shortened it to hybrid. Yeah, just to sort of beef up our tag team division a little bit. But this is much better, 59. Decent pre-show match. AJ Francis and Matt Riddle defeated the hybrid in 9 minutes 48 when AJ Francis pinned Jack Evans. Matt Riddle was head and shoulders above everyone else. Now, last week we had we didn't. We had AJ Francis in our main event, and he got a terrible rating. So what does he do here? 35. It's better than last week, but it's still not great at all. Jack Evans getting 40. Angelico 57, and Matt Riddle there with a 74. That's what we want to see. Jack Evans was off his game. Might have increased a little bit there. Still wouldn't have been anything to write home about. But Angelico and Jack Evans have great chemistry, and they both have a tag team specialist bonus. Excellent. And Matt Riddle looked good out there. Okay, gimmick changes. Great for Angelico. No bonuses or penalties though. Yeah, rating 59. The final pre-show match, Will Ospreay defeats QT Marshall in 18 minutes 26 by pinfall with a Stormbreaker. 65, decent to finish the pre-show. Will Ospreay getting an in-ring performance of 74, which is fantastic. Don't really expect anything less from Will Ospreay. QT Marshall getting 46. So Will Ospreay officially he's not cleared to wrestle. We had an angle with him last week that he's come into Premier League Wrestling, but he's got a few prior commitments. But yeah, he's on the roster. We use him in the pre-show, but as I said before, if it's not broadcasted, it doesn't happen. So this is just to give him a match really on the show, but it's unbroadcast. But 65 is pretty decent. Let's go to the show proper. Stephanie McMahon, the CEO and founder of Premier League Wrestling, is in the show. She's in the ring, and she wants to talk about tag teams. And she said, yeah, we had MXM last week talking about the tag team division. We will, of course, be having a tag team division. We have a tag team match tonight for you all to enjoy, but you're going to have to wait for a title. We are tied up a little bit with some other things. There's a few contractual agreements that need to be made. We need to talk to the wrestling authority of, and she said it. She said the word wrestling. We need to talk to the wrestling authority of America, whatever. She makes up some term that we're going to use quite often, actually, as a means to create stipulations and matches and that sort of thing. And also a good old booking committee. The Premier League Wrestling will have a booking committee, which we'll refer to every now and then. So just as an excuse as to why they don't have a title yet, the real reason, we probably don't have enough tag teams just yet. Maybe we could introduce one. I wouldn't mind just a couple more tag teams, though. But yeah, kayfabe, just a few contractual agreements need tying up, and just get clearance from the Wrestling Authority of America, or whatever it is she decides to tell us. So we'll have to wait for a title. She clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script. Deserved a bit of colour commentary. That's a shame. It's something we'll have to keep an eye on. The angle got the crowd hotter, and got the show off to a great start. 73, fantastic. So we kick off with Alex Hammerstone against JTG. Now this is a qualifier for the gauntlet match. 49, bit disappointed with that one. In a poor match, Alex Hammerstone defeated JTG, or Jamal Taylor Gunn, in 10 minutes 23 by pinfall with a nightmare pendulum. Hammerstone getting 50 and JTG getting 37. Yeah, disappointed with that one, actually. It is what it is. I kind of expect a little bit more, or hoping perhaps for a little bit more from Alex Hammerstone. He's one of those guys I'd quite like to push a bit early, because we're lacking in those sort of star positions. But, well, we'll just have to see how he gets on, really. But yeah, rating 49, Alex Hammerstone has booked his place in the gauntlet match. We've then got an angle with Riddick Moss, and the same as last week, he orders the referee before his match to have a 5 count on the pinfall. When he pins his opponent, the referee must count to 5. Will not accept a 3 count. And that's rating 39. We know they're going to be disappointing. He's not great angle wise, but this is serving a story. So yeah, rating 39. Referee must count to 5 on a pinfall. And here's the match. He takes on Chuck O'Neill, and he wins it in 5 minutes 34 by pinfall. The referee, same as last week, kind of hesitates after the 3rd count, but this one didn't require Riddick Moss to give him a dirty look or anything. He just kind of does the next 2. He sort of sees, the referee sees that Riddick Moss hasn't kind of got up and celebrated or whatever, so counts the next 2, counts to 5. Riddick Moss then gets up and raises his arms in victory. 37 is really poor. Yeah, we're trying to get him over as a dominant force, and yes, we've only got him really facing jobbers at the moment, but yeah, shame they're very low. But Chuck O'Neill getting 19 in-ring performance, Riddick Moss getting 40, which is still pretty poor, really. Chuck O'Neill debuted a legitimate athlete gimmick, got a rating of great. He's only a jobber. We've only got him in as a jobber. I don't intend to do anything with him, but I will just check in a minute if there are any bonuses. He was off his game, so maybe that obviously contributed to that. The announcing quality lifted the match, and the colour commentary gave the match a boost. Well, that's contradictory to what we heard earlier. No, all penalties for his gimmick. Well, as I say, he's here for 3 months to put people over. A taped segment here with Selena De La Renta. She is in an office, and she's all sort of dressed, in a suit and very smart, and there's a desk behind her, PC, what you kind of expect, nice mahogany desk, and she's introducing us to her sports agentry company, or sports agency, I suppose that's the right word, isn't it? Her sports agency, and she'll be looking for a couple of people to take on from the PLW as part of her portfolio. She'll be checking out a few people and a few matches. So she wants to take on a couple of people to manage. This is part of a storyline, or it will be part of a storyline. Yes, so she is looking to manage a couple of people, and she did a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd. Excellent. Rating 57. Darwin Finch and Murdoch take on MXM. So last week, MXM was saying they were looking forward to kicking off the tag team division, and the booking committee decided it would be them who would kick it off. And so they've got a match here tonight. It did have terrible wrestling though, and non-existent crowd heat. MXM defeated Darwin Finch and Murdoch in 6 minutes 52 when Mace Madden pinned Darwin Finch with the downbeat. So yeah, in terms of in-ring work, Mansour was head and shoulders above everyone else. Darwin Finch was the weak link. So let's have a look at the scores then. Murdoch got 34, Darwin Finch got 19. Both jobbers pretty awful, but the next two kind of hoping for a little bit more. Mace Madden only a 30, but Mansour getting a... Sorry, is it Mansour? Mansour getting a 49. Yeah, a couple of gimmicks that got very good here for the jobbers. Again, we're only using them as jobbers. No intention whatsoever to use them for anything else. Rating of 41 overall for the match. Yes, a little bit poor so far. I will just have a look to see if there's any penalties or bonuses. Oh, marketable gimmick. We've got him down as a nerd. I mean, when you see things like that, you think maybe you could just keep him on. Maybe, and just see how it goes. I mean, if it's a marketable gimmick, you've got to think of that. Nothing for Murdoch, really. Well, I mean, wins and losses have a greater impact, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, there's that one. MXM kicking off the tag team division with a victory. We've then got a social media segment with Jay Rose introducing it. So it's all a bit, as I said last week, it's a bit of a kind of trendy segment, bit of music, and we just have Jay Rose going through a few sort of social media posts that have gone round, and in particular, he sort of putting the PLW over, a few tweets from people, saying, "Oh, great show last week, great start to the, whatever, blah blah blah." But then he also cuts to a social media video from Benito Ocasio. I might change that to Benny. Just like the idea of Benny. I mean, I know he was Bad Bunny, but Benito Ocasio is a bit. I might change it to Benny or just call him Benny. I don't know. But yeah, it's just him saying that he'll be starting soon. He'll be entering the PLW, and he actually is looking for someone to challenge next week. So this is basically his open challenge. Next week, he wants to face anyone. He doesn't care. He's not scared. But next week it will be his debut. He looked good, and the angle got the crowd hotter. Overall rating of 50. Got another qualifier here for the gauntlet match to be taking place at the pay-per-view Civil War. It's Breeze against Kenny King. Didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, but Breeze does get the win over Kenny King in 6 minutes 53 by pinfall with an implant DDT. So Breeze got 36 and Kenny King got 39. So the jobber ended up doing a little bit better here. Yeah, this is all a bit of a shame, but yeah, the announcing quality lifted the match, and Camille did some good work at ringside. Yeah, last week I messed up. Camille manages Breeze. We will integrate the managers a little bit more eventually. So, I'm not just going to have them there to do nothing. I mean, the whole Selena De La Renta thing as well was kind of to make her a bit more important to just being in the background. I do want to sort of do stuff with managers. So, keep your eyes peeled for that. Overall rating 43, not great, but Breeze is in the gauntlet match. Stokely Hathaway then interviews ABC, who they come out. They've got a couple of wrestling belts with them, and they don't look particularly professional. They're not awful, but they're not completely homemade. But they come out and they thank MXM for kicking off the tag team division. They want to say, look, the PLW have got to pull their finger out. If they're not going to pull their finger out, then we will. We proclaim ourselves the Premier League Wrestling Tag Team Champions. This should have been done and dusted by now. We should have had some news. Why should you just worry about the singles competitors? What about us? We need something to be proud of, the tag team division, and we are the top of the game. We're the best tag team in this company. So just give us the belts now. Here they are. We are proclaiming ourselves now the Tag Team Champions. So we have created a title. I've called it the real, in inverted commas, tag team titles. Rating 52 for this angle. Angelina Love helped Ace and Bay as well. So yeah, it's good that she's doing some good work with them as their manager. And Stokely Hathaway is getting better at his gimmick. Yeah, overrating 52, not too bad. Ethan Page takes on Bailey. This is just a match to stick on the card, get Ethan Bailey a match. Mike Bailey, to some extent, I'm not sure I'm going to do much with Mike Bailey, but then he's actually got a pretty decent score here. So yeah, there's a few guys on the card or on the roster that I've kind of signed, thinking, oh, I could do something with that person, or I've also thought, oh, maybe they're just an average, solid mid carder. And then I've looked at them and I've actually felt the opposite about them. And Mike Bailey's one of those. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with him yet. But yeah, overall rating of 68. This is decent. I'm pleased with this. Yeah, Ethan Page getting 53, and Mike Bailey getting a 67, which is fantastic. But it's Ethan Page getting the win in 7 minutes 37 by count out. Scott D'Amore is then backstage and he catches up with John Hennigan, who he claimed his place in the gauntlet match last week, and he just asked him about it really. And John Hennigan's, I don't see why I can't go all the way and win it. There's still a few places up for grabs. We don't know the full people that are in it yet, but no one's kind of close to me. I mean, there's a couple of people that maybe there or thereabouts, but not yet. No one at the moment kind of sticks out. I've got very good chances of winning that gauntlet match. But then Will Ospreay appears. He's there, finalising a few contract amendments, and he just gets in Hennigan's face and he says, I am cleared to wrestle next week. I will be entering the gauntlet match. I will be qualifying next week, and I'll be the one that you've got to watch out for. So overall rating of 52. Lots of green here. Very pleased with. Will Ospreay was good. Hennigan improvised well. Ospreay improvised well. Scott D'Amore's getting better at his gimmick, and as is Will Ospreay. So yeah, that's all good stuff. 52 rating. Benito Acajo and Dolph Ziggler are being talked about by the announcers. The announcers tell us that they've just had news that Dolph Ziggler has accepted Benito Acajo's challenge next week. So Acajo will be making his debut next week, and he'll be taking on Dolph Ziggler. Overall rating of 59. Next week, Acajo versus Ziggler. Then we've got our main event, and judging by the score, it's not it's not particularly great. But this is another qualifier. This is a qualifier for the gauntlet match, and it had decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Elijah defeated Ryback in 30 minutes 29 by disqualification. So Elijah getting 53 and Ryback 35. That's awful. Overall rating 51. It's not fantastic. Ryback is one of those guys that I kind of want to keep him relevant, but I want him to be putting people over. I don't know a lot about Ryback. To be fair, there's a lot of people in the modern day that I don't know a lot about, but he's a name that I hear every now and then. I don't think he's particularly liked. He's done something, or he said some things over the last couple of years and gets a lot of people's back up, I think. But he did have some decent stats and stuff. But I mean, when he's 35 is really bad. But the most important thing here is that Elijah has booked his place in the gauntlet match. Overall rating then, here we go. What's this? 52. Yeah, so still not good enough for our main area, our main region. And but we did gain it in the 31 other regions. And we still don't have enough good storylines. To be fair, most of our storylines kick off around the pay-per-view time. So, yeah, we will. I mean, I think I've got 6 or 7 on the go, and we've only really kicked off 2 or 3. So hopefully, they'll start to sort of come in soon, and we'll pick up on that side of things. But 52 overall, it's not fantastic, but we're telling the story. We're doing bits and bobs, and as I say, once the pay-per-view's here and Civil War's kind of been done, there will we will start to be able to drive stories a little bit more. At the moment, let's get our champion, and sort of go from there. We'll have a storyline involving the title. Lots of people that are involved in the gauntlet match will splinter off and get their own stories. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know down below things you like, things you don't. What should I be doing? What can I do? Who's your favourite wrestler? Who should I bring in? Who's your favourite wrestler on this roster? Who do you want me to see get over? Who, any ideas of what I should be doing with some of these people? Let me know. And I'll see you all again soon, which will be episode 3 of PLW Unleashed.